Hi, I'm about 30 seconds early, but that's okay because for the people who I misposted, they're all coming Thursday anyway. They're going to miss it. They'll have to catch the replay. Sorry about that. I know I should not do anything with small print without my new glasses on because I pushed the wrong keys. All right. It's a fun day in the neighborhood. I don't know what the weather's like where you are. In Florida, I do. They're having lots and lots of rain. And in Dallas, we've had a real break in the weather, which is good for us. And it's getting to be very pleasant temperatures where you like open your door and you don't think you're going to be immediately turned into a piece of overcooked pizza. So I'm really glad that all of you are here. Um, I'm going to do a couple different things today. I I'm going to go and start talking about some of the things I talked about the earth energies, which is what the nine candles was about. I'm going to, Mystic Library of Ooh, hi. Esther, Teresa's been here. That girl's been hanging out for a while. Hi, Dr. Gail. And Kathy G. But what am going to talk about today is some thoughts. I um, had a lot of people respond to wanting to know about the banners. Okay, wanting to know about some of the books that I really, really like. And thoughts, the thought for today comes from Angel Speak, which is written by Trudy Griswold and her sister Barbara. Barbara's no longer alive. Trudy's still here, still running Angel Speaks. And if you get on her website, you can go and um, look at her, look at how to get in touch with her. And she sends out really nice, once she doesn't bomb you with things every other day. So this is what she sent yesterday. And when I read it yesterday, it was so perfect for me. I wrote it down so I could read it for you today. And it says, you are seeking the meaning of your life. And instead of allowing it to come to you, you are scrambling about, looking for it here and there. But there it is, right in front of you. Be still. God will bring you all you need and all you want if you just let it happen. And that's kind of what's happened to me in the last couple of weeks. I used to just burn myself out um, doing my 9 candles. By the end of the 9 candles, anyone who was close enough to me to want to listen to me scream about it could hear me saying, I'm never doing it again. I can't stand it, blah, 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 blah. And um, it's because I pushed it. I tried to make it. Hi, Sharon Sight. Okay, I'll put on some new mods. Um, uh, anyway, long story short is this time I just said, I got the first few arranged. I decided I was going to do them all as premieres, except the last one, which just worked out best for Kim and I to do it live. So that all I had to do was get my butt in front of the computer at 6 o'clock in the evening after I had the other hard work done. And that worked out well. And I got a lot of really good feedback from it and picked up some interesting new people who wanted to know about things like the book I just spoke about, Angels Speak. When I read for people, I often tell them you need to go get this book because it will teach you. People will say, well, I know you talk to your guides, you talk to them, and da 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 da. But it was really reading her book and doing some other things that woke me up to several ideas that I knew how to do them, but I wasn't doing them because I wasn't sitting quietly enough to do them. And so I thought I'd bring that to you today. And then we have a new guest on the show. Da-da-da-da. It's called Stone of the Week. And the reason I picked this one, it's really pretty, and I'm going to put up the description. I'm going to get rid of Trudy. I'm trying to do this all by myself, guys, today. So this is kind of banners. Okay. That's what this is. This is a stromatolite fossil. And I found that when I was in Colorado. And what it is, if you can see really closely, you can look it up online too. See the little lines? This is the oldest living fossils of the creatures that ever were on our planet. Most stromatolites can go back to 3 billion years ago. That's a billion, guys, with a big fat B. And what it was the first sort of fossil, first sort of plant that could leave a shell behind, leave some tracings behind. And what that is that's, and they're microorganisms. So this is called a laminated fossil. It's layers and layers and layers and layers and layers of little critters. And when I'd been looking for one for a long time, but so I never thought I found one that showed me what the stromatolite is really like. And there are still colonies of this that still lives on the earth. I saw some place in Australia where it's in a shallow sea, and you can see them, the ones that will billions of years from now will have all scrunched together and made this kind of stone if when the earth lasts that long. But what I really liked about it was when I touched it, you could feel kind of the age and the connection back to earth at its most primitive. That's what I really, really liked about it. So that's our stone of the day. And so everybody gets that one. And I'm going to hide it now because I promised everybody I'd start teaching some feng shui sort of things that we can do. And this is the one I'm going to talk about today. And these 8 stones, they're just plain old river rocks that I painted with gold paint. And I've had these in front of my door for 2 years. As a matter of fact, what I did yesterday was I repainted them because when you leave them outdoors for a long time, they get a little rusty looking. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tell you this what this is about. This is about us taking the intention of painting it gold, and in feng shui, gold and red are colors of prosperity. And they had this old tradition of putting this to the right hand side of the front door, and you just stack them up like a little mountain. You just kind of make them all sort of fit together. Now they're not going to fit here. They do much better outside. I don't really know why. But you just kind of make them look like a little grouping. And one time a guy came from Amazon and he saw this beside my door and he goes, "Why do you have a bunch of gold rocks by your door?" And I said, "It's to bring in good fortune." And I ended up, although I'm not even sure if this guy's still working with Amazon considering what he did. He stood there for 10 minutes talking to me. And it can look like that. You can form it up any way you want. And he and I got talking about but he was having a lot of trouble, and he was having a lot of anxiety because they put him under kind of new time schedules on delivering boxes. So I ran back in the house and I gave him a little piece of Amazonite, just one of my little one, probably about this size. This is not Amazonite, but it's about that size. Gave it to him and told him to keep it in his pocket and it would help. So when you expose your house from the outside, it not only means you get abundance in, it means that you can give abundance out. And I really, the reason I kind of want to bring this up now is, what did I paint them with? You don't have to use this one, but I use acrylic paint because you can clean it up easier. And I use a tube, and I painted all those rocks completely all over again. And I've used maybe an eighth of this tube, and it's a $4 tube from Michael's. You can get any craft store. But what you can do, this is what I did last time. The first time I made river stones, I actually had to buy a bag of them because I don't live where we have rivers with river stones. And so I ended up with a whole lot of extra river stones. So I painted them, really dried them out, wrote out a little piece of paper and gave them to some friends of mine that I wanted to just gift with something fine. Right side of the door, Angla. They say, now, I tell you what, I've had mine next to the left side of the door because there was no right side to my door. I think it's just outside the door. Although I'm going to go in later, and it's a couple things I'm going to do in Feng Shui about directionality and how that what the study of Feng Shui and that why this ties together with my energy talks is um, the whole idea of Feng Shui is to help energy move through your house. I think some of the more fascinating things is they tell you to never leave the seat up on your toilet because the water that's in the toilet sucks away good intentions. If good energy gets in there, it sucks it away from your house. I always thought that was just hysterical. Um, I mean, just, who'd have thunk it? I mean, but they did. And when people really get into Feng Shui, they design their houses so that their house is facing a certain directions, and you can learn by working with Feng Shui. If you happen to live in an apartment, and you don't have a whole lot to say, can't turn the whole building. They have tips and tricks to help you be able to move the energy a little differently. I actually knew a designer who had a national reputation, and all she did was Feng Shui. She went into people's houses and completely changed where the mirrors were, where the, how doors open. She'd tell them, keep doors closed if you have meanings for certain spaces. It's really kind of interesting, and I know people who actually rearranged their bedroom because they were having a really hard time sleeping. And she said, I don't know if it's just because I was so tired from moving all that furniture, but it really worked. So I'm going to start talking about some of that stuff too. But today, your lesson is it's called a mountain of gold. It's for prosperity and abundance. You paint it up and give it to all your friends that you want to get to be more abundant so they can help you out or so they quit asking you for money, which would be the other thing. Okay. Now we're going to go to this. I put it on the glass plate because the stones, it takes them a couple days to really dry, and I didn't want to get the stones on my garden. I mean, the gold paint on my garden. Okay, I had questions. If you have a question, we remember this rule, right? Put your questions in caps, and I will come back and catch them. I have these are things that people wrote me from my post, even when it was going to the wrong day, but I hope they're here. I know one is, I think, for sure, because she said she was going to come. Only daughter. I've read Only Daughter. She's in a job search, and I kept seeing fall, I think, before, but we're going to do, first question is going to be about her job search, and when will it come through, because she's really getting impatient. Yeah, you're going to be fall girl. Yeah, this is summer, fall. You've gone to the place, you've met, and you've applied to the place you're going to go to, and your mind's just really starting to wrap around, or maybe they're finally making a decision. Hunting for jobs in the summer. I'm going to make this bigger because it's easier to see. Okay. Hunting for jobs in the summer is like the worst because final thoughts on the situation that you started in the summer are coming. But what's going on with you right now is you're rethinking about some of the jobs you look to find. That's from your restate. And your fire said clarification comes from, I think some of it is the reason you're beating yourself up and like, I don't have any patience and I want to have it now. And of course, when you're out of work, or I don't know exactly what your whole work situation is, it's very, very difficult. This is you holding on to negative thinking. So I'm going to tell you what to do. Put your grounding totally in what's happened in the past and say, the past is gone. It's done. Then your clarification is, that's good. It's not a bad place. And use ideas from the past that have helped you find your way into a new job. And the fact it drips over a little bit into water said that it's going to be resolved quickly. Then you've got, and this is great because this is your creativity. It's about to show up. It's in your sacral chakra. Your spirit's there. And its spirit inspires your creative energy. So I think it's the more creative jobs of the ones you've applied for that you're going to get. That's really the feeling I get out of this. And your body's going to make me work. It's in past, sacral chakra, and root. And when your body's in the root chakra, you're trying to connect to security from in a physical form. In other words, money I can hold. Your sacral chakra says energy will be freed using creativity. Well, you've already got your spirit saying, I'm moving you forward in a creative way. And for some reason, you're tied a little bit to your past. And it says, look to previous forms that served you. And there's a couple of them that have kind of hinted around that. What I think you might want to do, only daughter, is a little more follow up on some of the jobs. Say, hi, what's going on with this? So that you might get them off the stick and do it. And I don't mean do badger them every day, but think about it and think about the people you met that were lovely and kind and have also sat around waiting to hear about jobs. And you're going to find, I really feel you're going to have this job this fall. And we have just come into the fall, as we all know from the equinox. So it's going to go. It's going to go for you, girl. Okay. And then this was my other big question. And this is a two-parter. And the woman, Linda, sent this to me in an email because she'd gone to my website and was confused. I can't imagine why, about the images that were on there. And then she kept saying, you were talking about throwing stones. Where do you throw stones? Linda, this is where I throw the stones. And Linda said, and this is why I'm reading her, she channeled energy from a large crystal. She was in a meditation group. And it caused a bright light to flash through the crystal. And then it went out like the spokes of a wheel and went into everyone who was there. And she said, what was this? And she said, this happened 35 years ago. So in talking to people, some think it was delusional. Some people were saying she was being tricked by the people who had set the large crystal up. But that has always made her have an affinity for crystals. So, okay, garden. Gonna go to work now. Tell us how the situation with that exposure to that crystal has worked for Linda. Okay. I'm going to start with Linda, you don't know. This is body, mind, spirit, grounding, and clarity. And I'm going to come up and she has a second question about this, and I'll talk a little more about that. But your body landed in the past, and the reason I think it did is that one very bright enlightenment 35 years ago gave you a situation to go back to and say, there is power here, there is energy here. You felt it. It hit you right in the gut. I have experiences that happened to me that said, yeah, it may be a little bit strange, but guess what? It's real. And that to deny those kinds of exposures and those kinds of things are what will make us crazier. So your mind, your mind is an heir in the future. What fun. Your mind said, it's been all important to how you've thought and perceived about the world since that experience. So it was a very important experience for you to have gone through. And the future is where your mind is. And it set you up for your mind to be able to relate to the things you're doing now, the things you're working now in the future. And it always gave you a place to be grounded. So now we're going to go to spirit. And your spirit's in go for it. Just my favorite place. Go for it in water. When the spirit's in go for it is the space when something lands here. This was telling you. That's why I said it was given to you in the past so that you could move forward. It gave you an anchor to tie to. It aligned your spirit with all the other ideas that were going to come to it after that. And it was the completing of your transmutation of your energy. So it's all keeps saying the same story to me now. Your clarity is in water, and water is among the elements. That's the one that helps wash away, move on, cleanse, deal with. But it means nothing static when it's sitting in water. And your clarity said, this was given to you so that you would have the clarity you need to follow the many paths you've had to live through to resolve different resolutions and problems. It gave you an anchor for you to know how to trust your heart. I bet you that light entered through your either your heart chakra or your solar plexus. But when I saw the image you wrote in the note to me, what I saw was it bursting out, going right right into your heart. Okay, now the last stone we're going to read about this is grounding, and it's in fire. And it was the this firestone, the basic meaning is clarification of things from your past. I think it's the anchor, since it's the grounding stone. I think it's the anchor that you were given to learn how to master your spiritual life. So, for those people who want to say it's a delusion or a trick, it's because they've had something similar, maybe, and they want to reject it because their mind doesn't tie to what their heart says. That blast you got in the past, girl, was to set you up so that you could move forward in a spiritual way and always have that memory of that coming to pass. Now, she asked questions about the stones. That's the body, it's fusite. It's also the fairy stone, which I think is kind of fun since what I'm doing now, but it's really important that our body, because our body is tied to this earth and how it functions. Then the second stone of the 5 elements that we roll is the mind, and the mind is a yellow-orange calcite. It's very bright, very different from the other stones, and calcite comes in all kinds of colors. So I'm going to tell you, if you get calcite, go to the chakra color around that calcite, because this is the um, solar plexus color, and that's why I like it. It's sacral and solar plexus together. Then the third stone is the spirit, and that's amethyst. And the amethyst is, I mean, it's just a stone everyone says is spirit. Amethyst is just a very gorgeously colored quartz. I could have used quartz there, but I really didn't want to. I wanted to use amethyst because it's bright. And then grounding is pyrite, and that's the teeniest little stone in this pack. It also, that little thing weighs more than that because it's iron and it's very hard. And it looks like gold because it's fool's gold. That's what they used to call fool's gold. And then the last stone is sodalite, which is clarity. And sodalite has to do with our throat chakra and our ability to communicate and our ability to speak clearly for ourselves. And the other question that Linda had about the stones was, yes, they are all kept together. I keep them in bags, and then I have 4 cornerstones. I have agate, quartz, serpentine, and that's really a serpentine is usually a beautiful green color, but this is all raw before it gets tumbled. You'd be amazed what stones look like when they're, especially rough ones like that, once they get tumbled. And I just blanked on my 4th cornerstone. Bad me. I invented this. But when you get the garden, you get all the stones, you get a complete sheet on how to understand reading them, and then you just got to throw them. That's the only way you can learn about the garden. And I'm going to go back into the chat and take a quick look. Yep, you're right, Eliza. Fear attracts fear. If you let that in. Okay, okay. I'm picking up the people who've posted questions. If it's in capitals, it's very easy for me to find them. And I'm going to tell you, okay, Saturday I ran a class where we rolled stones and everybody got a chance to play. And I decided, I know that the only way learn how to read cards is to read cards. The only way you can learn how to read in the garden is if you're reading in the garden. So what I did was I picked a couple of situations that I'd run into where I've been reading people or around people last week and turned them into simple questions, which is a whole lot like when I used to read blind at tables. When people would just come up, I knew not who they were. I didn't have time to even think about it. They just asked me a question. I gave them an answer. And I, one of the people I asked them to look at was, I had a friend who's in Nova Scotia facing the hurricane, but I didn't tell them that. I said, "How is Anne?" And they all rolled it, and they said, "Well, she wasn't ready for what's going on around her, but they said she will make it through okay." And I mean, all of them had very similar answers about it, and I took a bunch of notes. And but the one they said is that she'd had some real fear, but what she was going to end up at the end of this experience was redefining how she felt about certain things. And there's nothing like having your neighborhood blown away to make you rethink about how you're attached to things. But anyway, so after the hurricane had come and gone, and I found out through a friend that she did have spotty internet. Oh, what we did though is at the very end, when I told him my friend is in Nova Scotia, she's about to get hit by the hurricane. So we combinedly all put together a bubble of love and light and sent it off to her and said, go protect her, take care of her. She thought she had it mastered, thought she understood what was coming, but no one did. This is the worst storm Canada's ever had off the Atlantic. So she, even if she dealt with everything she ever knew about it, it wouldn't be enough. And I sent her the what the women had done, what we had seen, and what her perceptions were. I said, "How does that fit?" She wrote me back the most lovely long letter. She said, "I know you didn't tell them who I am, and that's fine." And she said, "But this is what happened." And she said, just as the storm hit, she'd asked me what time were we reading on the garden. And she said during that time, all of a sudden, after really kind of freaking out and realizing how bad this is going to be, she just settled down. Now, some of that can be just because that's how we survive, because we have to survive. But she said it was a little different than that. And she wanted me to send her note on to everybody that was in the group. So that's an extraordinary circumstance. And that's, sort of an extraordinary day, and all the timing was right. But think about that when you think about coping with fear for yourself. You know, you can call in the angels. Uh, I don't know that they have nothing better to do, but they really, you can call them in, they can help you, and they can help guide you through this, and make you feel safer and make you feel more secure. And all the people were amazed at how close our readings were. But um, sometimes you get, where'd it go? I had a question. Ah, okay. Um, uh, okay, I'm going to get rid of her. Hide. Okay. Um, oh, crap. I had it. Okay. Okay. Here's one. Am I likely to get any large sums of money in the next year, please? And I think I'm going to do that with a pendulum. Gardens are not terribly good at yes nos. That's their one. I actually was told to design it that way. We got way too many people who would tell us a yes no too blithely. These stones are for really thinking about things. So, if you haven't seen the dowsing garden, everything has garden in it, guys. It's just a thing. Um, this is yes, going this way on the axis, and this is no. And I'm going to say 2023, Barbara. So the last 3 months of this month will not be, last 3 months of this year will not be part of your thing. And I always start with the pendulum swinging, and then I state the question: do I have permission to douse? Yes. Am I aligned with my higher self? Yes, thank God. This is I've been reading already. Am I fully protected? Even more important. Yep, I'm a protector. Okay. So now we're going to look at, I'm going to get to the right. Feels right. Okay. Is Barbara going to get a large sum of money between now and 2023. Yep. I don't know what you're expecting to come from, girl. I think you have some good ideas going to happen. Um, if it's something like an inheritance, it's going to get tied up in the court briefly because they always get tied up in courts briefly. But you'll get your money and take care of it because next year is going to be the year when all the monetary things change according to the astrologers now. What does my guidance say about my Korean boyfriend? Okay. This is for entertainment purposes only. Don't give him my name or my channel number. If it turns out to be negative, I think it's going to be good. It feels good. But... Okay. Well, let's see. What happened? Okay. My screen just went nuts. And it came back. That's nothing about you. It had me. I put something on my keyboard. Physical changes are happening right now between you and him. And your body's in earth. And earth, and if you don't know the elements, earth is where things arise from. So I think there's just, I don't know if he's moving closer to you or you're moving closer to him or something's happening, but something's happening on a very physical plane. And spiritually, you're also in the beginning of understanding and knowing about each other. And I think the affection and the understanding of each other, it's transforming, but it's not nearly as set as you would like to feel it is because your mind is locked up here in the present. And the mind is saying, you're beginning to see some signs and clues that are making you have some second thoughts about what's happening here. Not negative ones, because he's shifting your value system for you, or you're shifting his. Yeah, right now, okay. Right now, what's happening between the two of you and how you're kind of working things out, you're changing things into long-term patterns. And so this part looks okay. Now we go up to here. Now, clarity. Clarity is in restate in the past. And clarity said, your problem is, you feel like things aren't right, but you're not sure exactly what isn't right. And from the past, I think you need to use lessons you've learned. I think in the case of both of you, you've had romances before, and you're still working out, taking the old boyfriend's face off his face. He's taking old girlfriend's face off your face. You guys have some real chance to make a go of this because you can set into long-term patterns and make it go. You just need to get your body in here and get your mind thinking in terms of the future and not just today. And I hope that helps. I don't think it looks negative. So, well, we'll see. Let's see. You're visiting him next month. Well, that ought to make it that's the physical change. That's what's going to make a difference in how you see things. These tear me up, Kathleen. We're going to do this on the pendulum because we're going to. And the cat's name, Mochi. And okay. Will Moochie find a new home? Was Moochie chipped? Because I'm going to see. Is there any possibility she'll find her way back to Catherine? No. She's going to find a new home. She already has. I think she already has. And unless you had her chipped, I don't know how they could find her way home. Or they're just going to never care about that. Or they'll take her to a vet that will check for a chip and figure out that they're not really the owner. Um, okay. Done that one. Done you. Hide. Um, Thank you, Cold Toes. Cold Toes, I don't think you live on the coast in Alaska, but Alaska had a big hurricane thing come up there too. I know. So I have another client that lives kind of near where you do. Yes, she's chipped. Okay, okay, let's see. Because what I saw was a vet checking her for a chip. Okay, we're gonna. Will Moochie come back because of the chip? Yeah, they're gonna inform you of where she is. You may choose. I don't know if you're gonna choose to bring her back or not. But I mean, everybody loves their cat and they want him back. But um, they're gonna. If this person ever takes the cat to a vet, then you'll find out where she is at least. Dina, if I remember right, you're in the hurricane. Okay. That question's kind of overly broad. Let me do a quick thing of with the cards to see if your guides are trying to communicate with you. It's not the cards. I did do an interesting reading today, this morning, early, for a woman I've read for a number of years. I've read her since I used to read people in person. And when I read her last time, okay, when I read her last time, um, she was, she had a, she has a nephew who's a pain in the ass, and he was on his way to jail. And I told her, I said, well, that's probably good for him because he needs the medical care because of his heart attack. And she looked at me funny and she said, well, he's only in his 30s. I don't think he's had a heart attack. She found out that he was so hopped up on whatever he was taking the night he was arrested. He had 4 heart attacks they got him back from. They revived him 4 times. And he is now sitting in the federal pen. And I thought, I must have read that 2 years ago. I read her. And I was like, okay. Um, so we're going to, some cards and some mediums are better for things than others. And Dana, okay, what's the message that's coming to Dana? Dina maybe. Okay, they're telling you this is the message they're sending. They've been working hard on you, girl, trying to get you to wake up. You are incredibly psychic and you are ignoring the ways they're presenting to you because it's not what you wanted to learn. It's not the skill you wanted to have, but you have it in spades. But you won't if you keep denying it. So they're teaching you through this number thing they're taking you to how to put your skills together. And you're not quite there yet. So what I'd suggest you do, Dana, is you go and you try a smattering of this, a smattering of that. When you watch someone read and they're doing something that you'll remember, oh, like you'll almost feel like, well, I could do that. Well, yeah, you probably could because you've done it before. Um, so it's like a lot of people thought they couldn't work with crystals, or they see how I work with crystals, and it changes their minds about how crystals work. So Dina, I know as soon as the storm goes away, um, look at numerology, and there's all kinds of funny little things you do online to figure out what's going on. And there's been a groundswell recently of some sort of free classes. I know Radley Valentine just ran a free academy on angels, which I love angels. I think I like them as much as elemental critters. They're just different. Angels are from another realm. But as we all grow into these new skills, you're not focusing on the one you need to focus on. And okay. This was, how will my mother-in-law's move go? Okay. Try it with the garden. Um, what will be the situation around her mother-in-law's move? Okay. Oh, she got a great card. Her mind is going to be in the right space. It's a big physical change for her. I think she's giving up space. Um, yeah, she's concerned because she thinks she's giving up too much space. But I think one of the glories of that is she shouldn't be in as much space as she's in. She needs to have her space refined. It shows that she's not listening to the signals of her body, what her body's telling her to do. And also in the earth, we got uh, more is going to come forward about where she's going to live. I don't know if she may have chosen somewhere and she's going to have to shift that a little bit, or there's going to be some more information coming towards her to help her. Her spirit is kind of gliding between air and water, and both air and water are going away. Water is going away emotionally, air is going away intellectually, and her spirit's being transformed by being placed in both of these. And she really has settled in her own mind about making this move, but it looks positive now. Her clarity on the move. This is and restate. Yeah, I think she's still sorting out her stuff, like what to take and what to not take, because she really um that's really what she needs to do. I think the more you can help her sift that through, because she's moving to make her life more easier, more easier. Terrible grammar, been in Texas too long. Make her life easier. But what she really needs to do is what's the out on this is, and this is where her thinking is aligned with what's going on, and her mind, her I think she put what I'm starting to see from this is she put this off for a while. Now she's kind of ready to go, but she still has some hesitancy because she isn't really sure she needs the kind of physical support that she needs. And what I see is it's more of a mobility kind of thing, and she needs where she can either get to people more easily or be helped by people more easily. And there's still going to be one more thing that's going to come up that might change things briefly, but overall I'd say it's a good move. Her head's in the right space. I think that's the hardest thing to do when you're older and you move, is when you're not sure you really want to go there, you know. Okay, aloha. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna pull you a card, Jolyn. Um, yeah, I figured out it was for you. I know I don't type any better than any of the people who type in my chat. So no matter what mistake you've made, I probably already made it 100 times. Okay, what do your guides have a message for you? I'm going to pull two of the fairy cards, and these are energies you need to be pulling into your life right now. Not swift on shuffling today. I don't know what's the matter. It's a beautiful day out, so I should be better. Okay. First message is creation. Oh, it's this one. Yeah, okay. I have to remember. I have two cameras pointed at me. Creation. Isn't she pretty? And the energy you need to be pulling in, your guides are telling you, you need to be. Life is a planet of constant creation or co creation, complex and commonplace. Every creation is a miracle. Experience life as a constant miracle creates ecstasy and awe within us. Consciously creating what you want will bring around great joy and satisfaction. And the other thing they want you to know about is changes, which goes right along with creation because that's what we feel when we go through changes. And sometimes we will wait until circumstances get so uncomfortable that we're forced to make changes we know we need to make. When you know it's time to change something in your environment or within you, you need to do it. So I think these two go together because this talks about creation and co-creation. And like I said, change always pushes us to get to a more comfortable place. So I think they both go together very well, and I think that's what your guides are, and that's the message they have for you. And this is why I like to have someone work with me when I do this, because I can't read and read on the table and read at the same time. Okay. Okay, Carol Lee, see what your guide's got to say for you. You got the same question. Okay. Okay. I'll do it for you, Jen, but you didn't put it in caps. And I know how much more I can do than to scroll. Please put questions in caps below. Oh, okay. Thank you for letting me know, Tammy, because I wouldn't have known otherwise. Okay. Do your angels and guides have messages for you today? And the first one is patience. Oh God, do I hate that card. And your second message is history. Those kind of go together because patience is usually mean looking back at our history. We're going to read patience. Since we pulled it first, we're going to read it first. Okay. Patience. Get comfortable and have patience. New growth and blossoms take time to develop into ripe fruit. Relax. Fully enjoy the times of growth and the ripening. Enjoy the fruits of your labor. And so we're going to see if history is pushing you to need to slow down. History. Your past leads you into your future. Look at your past and learn, but keep moving on into your future until you can bloom and flourish. You got blooming and flourishing and what you've learned from your history. So, what I think your problem right now, Carol, you may be feeling a little frustrated because everything's just about to happen around you, but it isn't happening around you yet. I love this little deck of cards. It's called the Gentle Wisdom of the Fairy Realm. And a friend of mine brought it back to me when she was away on a vacation, and I've never been able to find it. It may be out there now. Okay. I'll give you a general reading. Okay. It's the Road of Stones. What's going on around Jen? Miranda right now. Oh, good. Well, you're breaking loose, girl. You're in your higher order of thinking. You're in your chakras. We're going to look at. We know body means that physical changes are coming towards you. We've seen that one earlier today. So I think you're in the time of physical change, and that can be losing weight. It can be gaining weight. It can be moving physically from one place to another. But it means some of your body's moving around somehow. And your clarity is in your solar plexus. There's more than one. Oh, this is why you're sort of stuck here, not moving forward, but moving forward. You have there's more than one way to express what you need to do to move forward. And that's what when you say I want a general reading right now, I think you're focusing on a specific issue. And you're trying to figure it out. So we're going to see what these tell us. Now, our mind's in fire. It's something to do with thinking things through from the past. Yeah, what okay. You need to quit being tied to false energy of the past. You may be running an old script, you may be running something people tell you ought to do or should do. That's sort of stopping you because up here you've got true, and that's when uh, spirit moves forward with harmony with your new plan, and you're letting go of old limitations. So you're letting go of old situations and changing into a new paradigm, and you're seeing clearly what you need to do. I think I know what you're saying. What am I saying for you today? Let go of this past and move forward. It's that simple. I mean, and it's not that simple because it's very hard when we get really tied into our past. But you have the clarity to know that these two things, dwelling on the past and not having your body move forward, are not helping you. You understand that. And I think if you're looking for, should I go for the wonderful new ideas or hang back where I've always been? Go for it. Go for it up there because that's where it's going to do you better. Okay. Thank you, Katrina Earthsage. Um, I've been to tell you before I ran into Cecil the Dragon, I was having some and having to try and figure out. And I mean, I know what I want to do, and I know what I'm capable of doing, but there's only so many hours in the day, and I felt like some of the roads I went down were false ones, but I think they're doing it okay. Getting feedback on finding a home for mom. Yeah, she's fighting. She doesn't want to let go of her stuff. That's true, but she knows she has to. Okay, you and where are we? Okay, I'm gonna look down and see how many more. Oh, thank you, Miter. Miter. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say that. Oh, yeah, Angla's in Finland, and she's writing about how she didn't want to go near any of that sort of stormy stuff that's happening up there. Okay, Jen, I'm glad you understood that. Okay, I've got two more questions, and um, show. I've been worried about someone not being honest with me about being out of the family's will. Am I still in the family's will? Okay, I'm not gonna mess. Oh, I have a friend who's been fighting that since 2008. Oh, and he is in the will, but he's in a corrupt court. So, and it's $8 million, guys. I'm not talking small bucks. I'm used to will questions. What I'm trying to tell you. Um, is Gina M still in the will? It says yes, but it says someone's tilting it towards no. I would go find out who's in charge of that will, and I would make my presence known. Um, and if you can find, if I don't know if your father's alive or dead, but wills have to be filed somewhere even before you die, I think. I don't know what state you're in. Go find an estate attorney and ask. They usually give you an hour or so free and tell them what your fears are and what you need to do. Because we're now, and the only people I know who can talk to each other about that stuff are the attorneys, which can be difficult. But I think you're correct. Let's see. I'm going to just ask if you need to go find your own. Does she need to find her own solicitor to help with the situation? Yes, you need to find your own solicitor. Someone's pushing the needle. They have not done it yet, though. I definitely felt it's not done. And, you know, why wouldn't you want to tell someone if they are, they aren't? Okay, Esther. I've been feeling like a roller coaster. I found my peace. Any messages from my angels and guides? Okay. We're going to let the angels and guides speak to you through your fairies. I like the fairy deck today. It seems good. I said thank you to Miter. I'm sorry. And don't hang up yet because I'm going to tell you about what's going on tomorrow. It's going to be great fun. I have, because of my looking at elementals, I haven't forgotten you, Esther. I can talk and shuffle at the same time. And he is going to come on my show tomorrow, and he is going to teach us how to identify which trees around us could be portals to help us open up other dimensions. And he's absolutely delightful. He's also a distance healer. And he also, thank God, is somebody who really knows rocks. I get tired of people saying, oh, I know about crystals. And then I get them on and they know the same five crystals everybody knows. He's lots of fun. His name is Brian, and he and I will be on at 1:00 tomorrow. I will put up the notify me. But really, you really want to meet this guy. He's going to be fun. I found so many fun new people with new ways to touch energy. I think you're going to enjoy it. Your first card is you get patience too. And your guides are telling you, but they've got you with communication. So your message from them is you heard patience before, but listen to it with your ears and your situation because it's always different. Get comfortable and have patience. New growth and blossoms will take time to develop into ripe fruit. Relax and fully enjoy time and growth of this ripening. It's kind of fun in the fall to let things ripen and, not go, not try. That kind of ties together with the angel speak quote I put up. We're so busy trying to get to the next thing. And what we don't realize is it's really right in front of us. We just need to get calm, quiet, be quiet, and let it reveal itself to us. So that's your patience. And communication is going to be the key. It's time for me to stop this because I can't turn pages in a little bitty book. Okay, communication. Practice the fine arts of communication. Learn to listen to your full body and hear even the softest whispers from the fairies. Learn to speak with clarity and purpose from your own heart, and you will be heard. So I think that sort of ties together with this one. I think you've been rushing around a little bit too much, and their thing is that we're here, we're working with you, Esther. Just give us a shot, give us a chance, take some time, and okay. Okay. Thank you to you, Carol, for providing a question. It's really boring watching me answer questions when I have no idea what I need to talk about. Um, yeah, there's some other chatter here I can't follow because there's too many people's statements in between. Good, Sharon. Take care of your sister. She'll need it, but it's amazing how fast we recover once we get our knees replaced. Um, Thank you to everyone who came by today with my confusing times. I will be putting up the notice later this afternoon about Brian. He actually has a YouTube channel of his own, and I'm going to hopefully be able to figure out how to take a little clip from his YouTube and put it in so you can see him talking about how to connect with trees. I think it's an interesting thing for us to see. And Thank you, Carol Lamb. Carol Lamb, everybody. Dream Journey 1, all names I missed because I'm trying to do 6 things at once, and I'm lucky when I get one of them done. But remember, to when you're looking for something to read, I just cannot say to price too highly about what you can learn from Angels Speak, especially for the lady who isn't sure what her gift should be. She'll tell you how to talk to your angels and how to get to them. And I'm having a wonderful day. I have to go out, and it's not incredibly hot, so I can go to the post office and not die. And I hope you all have a good evening. Tomorrow is 1:00. I hope that we'll have no one watching our show if the Jan 6 is still going. I videotape it. I don't necessarily want to listen to some of the commentators. I just want to hear what's going on. But pray for all of us. We're going through interesting times. I don't think it's just change is difficult, as we've seen in some of the cards today, but we'll all get there at the end. Anyway, thank you very much for coming by. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.